Aeromexico operates their Flagship 787-9 on the short 3-hour flight from LAX to Mexico City. I've never flown on them before, but since I'm headed to Santo Domingo to catch a unique flight, I decided to give them a try. Welcome to Park LAX, my favorite of LAX's many parking options thanks to the wonderful views it provides. Getting to the airport from here is super easy, with well-marked paths leading to the buses that depart about every 15 minutes. Our flight today is an international flight, departing from Tom Bradley, however we will need to head to Delta's Terminal 3 for check-in. AeroMéxico uses Delta's check-in area at LAX owing to the airline's long-running partnership. I wasn't able to check in online, so I'll have to check in physically. No big deal, right? The self-serve kiosk wouldn't allow me to check in, so I was directed to see an agent. Aeromexico check-ins were directed through the Delta customer support line, which is really stupid. As you can see, the customer support line is generally used by people with more complex issues like rebooking or pets or unaccompanied minors, which can take some time to get through. It took me a full hour to check in thanks to this. I really hope this system has changed since filming. If I hadn't arrived at the airport the recommended 3 hours early, I might have been cutting it close. Well, with that nonsense out of the way, it's time to get headed to security. I also got an early view of our aircraft. Thanks to all of LAX being interconnected inside, you can just go through Terminal 3 security and then walk to Tom Bradley with no hassle, but I decided to go to Tom Bradley's check-in area just to enjoy the international experience. Despite not getting my TSA pre, security only took a few minutes. The central area of Tom Bradley is basically a mall, with tons of restaurants, bars, and stores, but there's no time to linger, as boarding starts soon. The walk down to the gate is a little lengthy since it's at the end of the terminal, but there are plenty of moving walkways to do all the work. Well, here we are. This is November 128 Alpha Mike, a 2019 built 787-9 that has been flying for Aeromexico its entire life. Some of you may notice that this aircraft has a US registration. This aircraft, like most of Aeromexico's fleet, is leased, and unlike most countries, Mexico doesn't require aircraft based out of Mexico to have a Mexican registration, so many just keep their original ones. Well, time to board. This is looking a little chaotic. Passengers were told to get in 6 lines running down the terminal, with business class and status holders boarding first, then economy, split into 4 sections, the front, middle, then rear of the aircraft, and finally basic economy. The process itself was efficient, but it caused a lot of chaos in the terminal walkway and left many others who didn't catch their single announcement explaining everything wandering around confused. Aeromexico 787-9s have a total of 274 seats, split into 3 classes. The front of the aircraft contains business class, which features a self-serve bar that you can see through the door, along with 36 Collins Aerospace Super Diamond suites in a 1-to-1 layout. Just behind business, you will find 27 AM Plus seats in a 333 layout. These are Aeromexico's premium economy offering. Finally, the rest of the aircraft is filled with 211 economy seats in a 333 layout, split into 2 cabins. Overhead bin space on this aircraft is great, with full-sized pivot bins on both sides of the aisle. These economy seats, along with the AM Plus seats, are Collins Aerospace Pinnacle seats. Our seat today is 30A, at the front of the rear cabin. Here we are. These seats are pretty nice. The main feature is the legroom. I mean, this is something I'd expect to see from a premium economy seat. On the seat in front of you, you will find a 2-piece folding tray table, which also contains a bar menu and ad. Below that, the seat back pocket, fully enclosed, with a safety card and pamphlet, and a smaller secondary pocket. At the top of the seat, you will find a wonderful seatback screen, with a USB-C port and headphone jack. Above you, you will find an air vent and reading light, whose controls are on the screen. To your side, you of course have the 787's signature window dimmers, although this one has seen some rough days. These seats also come with an adjustable headrest and chargers underneath your seat, which I didn't grab footage of because I'm amazing at this. One other thing to note, I noticed each section of seats only had one blanket. This seems a little strange to me, but if anyone knows what's going on here, please do let me know in the comments below. The taxi on this flight gave us some amazing views of International Row since we will be taxiing around the airport to the south runway to simplify our southbound departure. Well, I'll see you in the sky. After takeoff, the IFE turned on and started playing advertisements. This lasted a few minutes and is something I've never seen before. Aeromexico 787s do offer Wi-Fi. Getting to it is pretty easy. There's even a QR code on your seat to access the correct website. Live TV is offered for free, but it didn't seem to be working. The Wi-Fi is $5 for an hour and $15 for the full flight, which for this little 3-hour flight is pretty steep. The price isn't even justified by good speeds. It's fine for browsing, but streaming is blocked. This stands in contrast to some American carriers who offer streaming capable Wi-Fi for half that price, or even free. Time to check out what's in the seat back pocket. The safety card has seen some better days, and the pamphlet is just an advertisement for Aeromexico vacations. I'm sure most of you were aware how the dimmable windows on the 787 work, but just in case, instead of having a window shade, clicking on these buttons adjusts the tint on the window, allowing you to go from a normal view to having it mostly blocked out, although getting to its max setting can take a few minutes. I always have mixed feelings about these windows. Being able to block out the sun without losing the view is nice for sure, but the crew can override your settings and black it out at any time they want. While I understand the purpose of this, I've noticed many 787 crews tend to overdo it a bit. Thankfully, that wasn't a problem on this flight. Before pushback, flight attendants walk the aisle and hand out earbuds for the IFE system, in case you don't have your own as the system requires wired headphones. Well, here's the seatback screen. It's fairly modern and responsive, and does pivot. The selection of movies is pretty good, although there's no way to see all the options available in one place, which is a pet peeve of mine, but it's not really a big deal. Shows, while being a little more limited, still does the job. The live TV option is also featured on this screen, but options are limited. Past that, you have the music section. and then the tour of the 787, which just ends up being a quick promotional video about the aircraft. Next, the About section, which contains info about Aeromexico's many destinations, some info about Aeromexico's fleet, and finally a quick guide to some important travel documents. At the bottom of the screen you can find a timer for the flight attendant call button, and controls for the screen's brightness and volume. And finally, the in-flight map. Sadly, nothing on this map is interactive, so the view they give you is what you're stuck with. Service arrived about an hour into the flight. For drinks, I just went with water. The only snack offered was this tiny berry mix. While it was okay, the size and lack of options is pretty sad compared to what you might receive on, say, Delta's flight on the same route, or other American carriers in general. Now it's time for the real highlight of this flight, the views. We were given a great look at the top of the West Sierra Madres and central Mexican Plateau. This route, by the way, is shared with just 3 other airlines. AeroMéxico operates 4 flights a day. 3 of them are operated by their 737s, while this flight is now flown primarily with the shorter 787-8. Delta, AeroMéxico's partner, only operates 1 flight a day with their 757-200s, while Viva Aerobus and Volaris also fly once daily aboard the A320 and A321 respectively. There are 6 lavatories available to economy passengers aboard this aircraft, 2 in the back and 4 in between the 2 cabins. I didn't check any out though, since I didn't want to bother the people next to me on such a short flight.
Passengers, we've begun our descent. Check that your carry-on baggage is stowed. Special passenger.
Well, this short 3-hour flight is already coming to an end. I'll see you on the ground. Welcome to Mexico City. Although I have a connecting flight to Santo Domingo coming up aboard Aeromexico's ERJ, I'm going to leave you here, as it's a red eye, so there's not much to say. Aeromexico is an interesting airline. In isolation, the Aeromexico 787 is awesome, with comfy seats that provide tons of legroom, plenty of overhead space, and a good seatback screen. The soft product on this airline is where things get a little complicated. First off, that check-in was awful. I don't know who thought the customer service line was the right place for it. The boarding process, while quick, was really chaotic. They could really benefit from some signage. On board, the Wi-Fi price definitely should go down, and while I have seen many say their long-haul food is great, their short-haul snacks leave a lot to be desired. I do really hope to check out Aeromexico in a long haul one day, as the comfort of the seats on their 787s would really start to shine. But overall, I doubt I'll be taking Aeromexico again on regional flying, if I have other options. Although improvement on these few issues I mentioned earlier would make all the difference. Anyway, our next flight will be something quite special. I can't wait to show you. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss it, and I hope to see you next time.